live and shit.
Okay, I'm not saying nothing until the screen changes on Twitch. I know it's a few seconds in between, so I ain't doing nothing until I can see myself on Twitch. I mean, they're probably listening to me talk about this, like, at the beginning. But, alright, there I am. I see me. Go me. You know what? I was thinking about doing, and, like, most people will not get this unless you watch the video. Because I moved my setup in my bedroom, because when my daughter was here, so that I could record and stuff like that, for her during the summer. And I never moved my computer back. I meant to, and I just never did. I should put like a painting or something right there, like one of my paintings.
Well, now that you're living by yourself, you could totally just like get you a canvas type thing and put it right behind your chair with a green screen, and we can green screen the motherfucker. But you can't really do green screen when you have like family around, because you're like, unless you have a dedicated room, which we do not.
Well, see, here was the original intent. The original intent when I had the other room is I was going to turn, because my how do I diagram this? I'm going to use my phone.
Okay.
I'm going to use my phone. So this is the room.
Yeah.
And originally, my computer was get out of the light. My computer was kind of like there. My computer desk was kind of like right there, right?
Okay.
Going across there, I sat there.
Okay.
Originally, I was going to turn my desk so that the back would be facing that wall, and I could do anything with that wall. Yes, the back of the desk would be wide the fuck open for anything. But like, I didn't really use that room for anything else. I don't really use it pretty much at all. I use that room for two things. One, I use it to iron my clothes in the morning. Two, I use it to put all of the clothes after I wash clothes. I just throw them on the bed until I get ready to actually put the shit away. I use that room for absolutely nothing else until my daughter is here. So I figured that would be kind of cool, and then I could do, I could green screen it. I could put something else behind it.
Yeah, because you were talking about like having a painting behind you, but what would be cool is if we did set up a green screen type deal. I could blow out. We could take off. Well, I can make the logo a little smaller up there, and then pull our videos up closer, right? And have the background be one of your paintings, but it'd be different every week. So behind this is literally a painting, and you wouldn't have to actually put a painting behind you.
That also requires me to take pretty good pictures of the paintings, other than like the bullshit that I put on. Like,
well, you take
not bullshit.
You take good pictures. I've used your pictures as album covers. You know that.
Yeah, my cell phone does okay with pictures. It's not the best. So I would want an actual camera to take pictures and things of that nature. And I'm in the works of doing that right now to get an actual camera, because I had a listener of Return to Oswald ask me about my paintings because she wanted to see, everything on the website, interested in buying and that type of stuff. Really, like the ones that I've sold have all been kind of like someone saw it on Instagram or Facebook and was just like, I want that. And then we make the plans and we talk about it kind of behind the scenes, that type of thing. So I'm in the process of getting, I'm going to borrow a camera, like a good camera, like a highfalutin, like a Canon,
Yeah, I've wanted a DSLR for a long time. Because for one, just taking pictures, and then you can use it as a video camera as well, because that's what most vloggers use, right? Is DSLRs. And,
yeah.
Like,
yes, and a lot of them start with a D. Is it called a D50? Mm-hmm. That used to be like the starting camera for a lot of people. A lot of like YouTubers and stuff like that started with like a D50. I think it's called a D50. I don't think it's a T50. But like that seemed like the base. But see, here's the problem, right? If you want to take your podcasts to the next level, almost in every circumstance, it requires $500. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get one of those cool highfalutin mixers, $500. You want to get some good microphones, to get a couple of those, it's $500. You know what I mean? If you want to get the nice like DSLR camera so that you look fucking phenomenal when you're doing your podcast and you're recording it, $500. You know what I mean? Like, so like everything is $500, and I'm kind of like, well, I don't really have $500. And that's the only, that was, you know, like there's been times where I wanted a Rodecaster bad, like bad, like super bad. I wanted a fucking Rodecaster, and I just can't afford it. And there's a lot of things that I want that I just can't afford. Now, one of the things that I want that I can't afford, I might be able to afford it in the coming week or so, which is I might be getting a Series S. I don't necessarily need the Series X, because I'm still keeping my other Xbox. So that part is not going to matter to me that much, but you know, the only thing that I would really care about is like extra storage, I guess, at some point. But that's just expensive.
Because that's the thing to where that made it. Other than it being the only one available, the storage thing is what made it not a good investment, because you're paying less for a digital only console, but then it's only got a 500 gigabyte hard drive. If you get more storage, it's going to be more expensive and go even more than the Xbox Series X to be like the Xbox Series X is normal price, right? If you expanded all the storage and all that kind of stuff, so it would be better just to get the X, and then you get the more power and stuff. But you can't fucking find the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and then, but like also at this point, I don't need a disk drive. Like I have a lot of games I have a lot of games on disc, but I play absolutely none of them.
Well, the point of the disk drive to me would be I don't have to install them, but you still have to install games now.
Right. Yeah, and as soon as I got a Xbox One, like I have very, very few Xbox One discs. And those are all like initial purchases. Like, you know, the few games that I bought at the beginning.
Yeah, because at the beginning you're like, hey, I need to buy some games. So you did that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like.
So you go to GameStop and you get some used shit. You know what I mean? Like everything, you know, I mean, that's still always an option, but that's not an option for now. Like one, I can't afford it. Two, you can't fucking find the things.
And I've got so used to digital to where even if I did buy a game for $5 at GameStop, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting down, hey man, I want to play Far Cry 5. Something popped in my head. And then I go to click it, it's like, put in the disc. I was like, fuck, now I have to get up again.
Yes, that's how I felt the few times where I was just like, I want to play some Killing Floor right now.
And it's not that big a deal if you're like you just sat down or whatever. I'm talking like you sat down, you got put the recliner up, you got your shit all situated, and then you got to get up again. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. And then so like I think that's the only game it's two games. Killing Floor and Rock Band are the only two that really use a disc.
You have Killing Floor on a disc?
Yes, because I have Killing Floor digital on PC and on PlayStation is digital, even though, you know, PlayStation Plus. But Killing Floor, I went and I found a disc because it was a little bit cheaper, because I had a hard time about buying Killing Floor again. You know what I mean? Like Xbox would undoubtedly be my preferred place to play, but I had already got this game for free and for really, really cheap because I got Killing Floor as a part of a Humble Bundle. So I got that shit like super cheap.
Right.
And then it was just like, do you want to pay full price for this? No, I'll go get a used fucking disc somewhere. In which I didn't really save that much. I should have just bought it digitally and just called it a fucking day. But that's just what it was at the time, you know? That type of thing. So
I actually still have some PS3 games just because GameStop wouldn't take them. Because they just had like too many of them. Or I have like Infamous or something, or like some games that they just had like a lot of and they just weren't taking them.
I have PS3 games. I have a few. Mostly my PS3 was for the exclusives. I didn't really play a lot of games that weren't GameFly. Like I didn't buy a lot that wasn't like an exclusive because, of course, Xbox is my preferred place to play. So there's that part. How's your week been, man? Mine has just been kind of weird. And
it's been there was something that was going on that I was wanting to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. So go ahead, let me think about that. You talk about some things.
Xbox 20th anniversary is today.
The Xbox 20th anniversary is today.
Yep. And the worst kept secret is they released Halo multiplayer today, but it's some sort of a beta. It's not like the thing. It's some sort of a beta for the multiplayer, which is going to be free to play and separate from the actual game itself. In case you don't want to buy the game, but a lot of us who play on Xbox have Game Pass anyway, so we're getting the game out of the way. So they released that today. They also released a bunch of games onto backwards compatibility. It's more than 70. And still no Brink.
Yeah, but like I was saying a little bit before we started is...
You're not supposed to tell them that we had already talked about this.
Well, I'm transparent with my people. I'm CD Projekt Red right now. I'm going to...
Oh, so you're going to put out something like completely broken?
Yes.
Okay. Put out your broken statement.
All right. Well, it's that the that I think they would have if they could have, but it seems like a server thing because like they can't. Because didn't they stop selling it anyway because of servers like GameStop?
It's not. I'm not sure. I know they stopped selling it on PlayStation for a while. PlayStation was just like, no.
Because even if you put it in a 360, you can't play it. I mean,
that part I don't know. I have no idea. I know that the Xbox One version works. Right?
It has an Xbox One version.
What are we talking about?
Brink.
I thought we were still talking about CD Projekt Red.
No, that was my joke. But I'm talking about Brink.
I'm pretty sure that like it works in some sort of offline capacity if you put it in the 360. Because there was an offline mode. Because they had like a kind of a bullshit story mode, but the story mode was tied into multiplayer, kind of like how Titanfall was.
Mm-hmm.
So, Titanfall, you go through the story, but it's not a linear story. It's like these like bits that happen while you're playing like a multiplayer mode that happen like before and during your actual matches. Like the original the Titanfall 1 story didn't happen as a separate mode. It happened as a course of you playing multiplayer. And that's pretty much what Brink was. It was just a series of multiplayer matches with like story beats in between, but none of that shit made any sense.
Well,
So it's possible that part actually works. I don't know if I don't think you need any servers for that.
Yeah. Yeah, but they did release a couple of things that I was looking for, which one of the main ones was 50 Cent Blood on the Sand and the Fear series, because the Fear series,
even for 3-year.
it's not my favorite, but as a co-op game, it's fun.
I just like saying for 3-year.
Yeah,
because that's kind of
I think it's kind of underrated because a lot of like when this is with a lot of things. It's like the third in the series, for some reason, always gets hated on. Pretty much of anything.
Is it? Does it really?
It seems to be that way. I mean, after a while, people will start liking it again. But for like if you're like, I want some Mass Effect merch. Do you want the one that says Mass Effect 2, or are you going to settle with the one that says Mass Effect 3? You know what I mean? Now you'd be like kind of cool with it, but at the time you'd be like, I kind of want that, the one that just says Mass Effect, without the Mass Effect 3 on there. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of like that. I don't know. But
I know that's a bad analogy for someone like me because I loved Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
like I didn't play it as much or as many times as the others. Because, by the time 3 came out, there was so much more to play. You know what I mean? So, I played it about a good 7-8 times. You know what I mean? And I never actually finished it the last time. I'm on 3 in the Legendary Edition. And I just kind of stopped playing, and that's when my Xbox started screwing up. And then I had to reset it, but I put my profile back on. But until my daughter was here like a month or so ago, I didn't have any access to it because she bought it. We game share. Yeah. So because of me, she has all of the Game Pass stuff, and then she bought 2 games. She bought fucking Cyberpunk, and she bought Mass Effect.
But yeah,
I don't think she plays either.
I was just looking at it on my phone, trying to see if I can find a copy. Man, Blood on the Sand is like $100 on eBay. It's really hard to find. So it's backwards compatible. Unless they release it digitally, it's going to be kind of hard to play. But you would think it had to be digitally.
If it is backwards compatible, there should be some sort of digital version, right?
I'll look later. But
yeah, I mean, it ain't shit to fucking pull up Xbox.com while we're talking.
Well, I just searched Blood on the Sand Xbox, and the Microsoft Store did not come up. But
the Microsoft Store didn't come up,
right?
At all?
No.
Okay.
I just got GameStop and eBay and stuff like that, and Amazon. Amazon was like $70 or something.
Well, it was also the shit just came out. You know what I mean? So maybe give it a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, but the cool thing about the first Fear on the 360 is that it was 16 by 9 or whatnot. Yeah, you can on the computer you can blow it up to whatever resolution you want, but it's still that 360 version ran really well for what it was, I think, which is cool. But some of those I didn't know why they weren't, because they were pretty. I mean, I guess they weren't Halo popular, but they were fairly popular releases, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that stuff was all of that stuff was really popular for a time.
Yeah.
So who knows? We'll figure it out. I mean,
but your outfit's on there though.
No, thank you.
You can play the outfit with Major Nelson, backwards compatibility.
Fuck that guy forever. Because of the outfit. I told you that's the moment where I became disillusioned with. That's the point I became disillusioned with Xbox. Well, with Major Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Just nope, can't do it, not anymore. But yeah, I couldn't find it either. I was searching Xbox and it's not coming up at all.
But I've been messing with the DJ stuff a little bit more, and just looking at little tech, because I'm not really looking for just being crazy technical or whatnot. I just want to, play some songs and bleed them into each other pretty good. You know what I mean? But it's tough. Like, what I'm wanting to do is kind of hard, right? I'm not saying, oh, I'm just going to do a whole set of dubstep because that would be easy, right? Because it's all 140 BPM or 70 BPM, which is basically the same thing. And you can beat match super easy because it's all the same fucking BPM. And versus trying to beat match separate BPMs. And well, if you have something that's 140 and then you have something that's like 68, you could like speed it up to 70 and it sort of beat match it a little bit. But if you have something that's 120 and something that's 140, it's not going to beat match it right. And then you're either going to speed one up really fast or slow one really down really fast. So you just so I just like have been kind of like counting the one thing I was starting to count intros, right? See, like, okay, this bass drop happens at a minute in. So I'm going to start this song a minute into the other song. When the other song's almost over, start bleeding in a little bit. And then right when the bass drop hits is when the other song completely ends. And it was a Mikey Dread song, he's a dub reggae guy from the 70s. I forgot that this lady was like, I'm so turned on or something at the very end of the song. And right when she said that, the bass drop hits on the other song. It just made me giggle of how like perfect it was. So I was starting to get a little excited because, wow. When things just work out like that, And I haven't even got jog wheels or anything.
Sometimes it's the little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the little things. That's all you can say, right? I've never really taken it that seriously. I used to have one of those DJ apps on my tablet. Like this is back when I used to buy Nexus tablets every year. I had one of those the apps on the tablet, and like I say, I believe that one of those apps is where Laidback started with his DJing, and played around with it for a little bit, but I didn't stick around long enough to actually like figure out how to actually do what I needed to do well.
Well, I followed Laidback on Mixcloud, which is like the DJ version of, well, it's not the same company, I don't think, but it's like SoundCloud, but for DJs basically, instead of just songs. And but yeah, so I'm thinking about doing some. I don't know. I'd rather do it like just close friends and stuff, because I'm definitely not going to be everybody want to party and play Christina Aguilera and just like, you know what I mean. I'm never going to be that dude because I'm just not that dude. I'm definitely going to be more of a, okay, this is a low key. Just we're probably going to have some bass rumbles, but like it's definitely going to be a chill time versus like. Just I don't know, unless we have a big GGR like podcast extravaganza, we get Laidback and me and we just all just fucking party. I don't know if
and those just don't tend to work as well digitally.
Well,
the only way that it really works is if like we are like one of you is doing your thing and we are all a part of the live.
I would say what I was talking about is we actually have a get together and everybody like
okay.
It's we're in just some basement somewhere, fucking we rent out a place at PAX or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's a long ways off, dog. I'm sitting here. You talking about like being able to rent a space for us to get together and do all of this stuff, and I'm like, everything costs $500. Do you know how much that shit costs? $350. No, but it I don't know, but it's not good. But yeah,
before we go off with the $500 thing, because I do this with $5, right? I say like, okay, that's $5. 20 of those is $100. All right, So you say 500, 20 of those, which you can rack up 20 pieces of equipment real fast if you're like getting serious about something. That's $10,000. So you have a $10,000 worth of equipment, or you know what I mean? Because if it's like a mic, a really good mic, or a really good mixer or whatnot. But the thing that's really cool about the DJ thing is, yes, it's really expensive if you just go with the best of the best, but you don't need the best of the best, right? When you're first starting out. And because the cool thing is, like, I was looking, I was like, I don't want something that I'm going to grow out of, like, in a week, to where I'm like, I really need some mids right now, and this thing don't have mids on it, you know what I mean? And this is a thing that happens. A lot of the lower end ones don't have mids. They just have highs and lows. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I looked at the Pioneer something 500 or something. It's $130. It's super affordable. But I was reading, it's like, if you're a good DJ, you could take this to a festival and do your thing with it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a good DJ, you can use a fucking little thing and just like fucking rock the place off with it, because
a lot of those DJs and stuff like that, they run everything off of their laptops. Like, see their setup, or all of the music and stuff comes off of their little MacBook or whatever.
Well, the music is stored there, but they're still queuing things up with and mixing with the.
Yeah, I told you. Did you do like I said? And did you ever look at one of Questlove's live streams?
Actually, no, I haven't. I was definitely listening to like Laid Backs, and I listened to a couple of his, and then there's a guy on Reddit that he was like, oh yeah, he gave me some advice or whatnot, and I found out, oh, he's actually a really accomplished DJ, and I've been listening to his stuff too. I think his name is Accomplice. Now,
see, what the reason why I say that you should check out check out Questlove, mm-hmm. because Questlove actually has well, first of all, he multi-streams. He streams to when he was doing it a lot, when he was doing it pretty much every night. I don't know how long they stay up, but it was on like the Roots YouTube channel. But he was going to YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram all at the same time. But what he has is probably some sort of OBS type situation, to whereas like he has like two boxes cut out on, and they're like there's like the basic framing of the camera with him. Mm-hmm. But then there's also two boxes, and the two boxes are the windows to what he's playing, the BPMs and stuff like that. So you can always see what's coming up next and how he actually puts it in there. When he's scratching and cutting and stuff like that, you can actually see the little needle thing move back and forth. So you can actually see, like, you can see all of that. I don't know which program he uses, but you can actually see, like, maybe not like the inner guts of the program, but you see the mechanism that's controlling each turntable, how it's working, how it's matching BPMs, and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was like really fucking cool. I mean, it didn't start off that way, especially when a lot of DJs were going live during the pandemic. During the heightened pandemic, because we're still in the pandemic. So it didn't start off that way, but eventually, like, every time he did one of those, it always showed all of this stuff. So, like, you can see everything. Like, when he switched the song, you can tell exactly what he's using, like, all of that. And it's just really dope. A music nerd like myself, and of course, like, he is full of music knowledge, so he always has a lot to say about like the creation of music and stuff like that. At one point, because he also collects stems. Do you know what stems are? Stems are the pieces of the recordings for music.
Pieces of recordings.
Yeah, the actual like pieces of the recording. So like in the old days, these would be the reels.
Oh,
with the
okay.
different takes and all of that kind of stuff, and the like different versions of stuff that was actually put down but not actually released. Like there's an album version that is different than the original version that came out, that type of stuff. And like he would actually mix in some stuff. Like one he was playing some music, and he played the I think the song is called "The Sound of Philadelphia." But it's the Soul Train song. And he actually had the stems of the guy saying the soul. I mean, it's like, of course, it's way higher than what I'm doing. But he actually had the stems of that guy saying that over and over again. And like the different ways he tried to say it and all that kind of stuff while he was playing that song. It was like really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So, but if any of that stuff is still up, because I'm pretty sure that at some point somebody copyright will probably come see him. But if any of that stuff is still up, go find it on the Roots YouTube page just to see it. I don't, it doesn't matter to me how long you stick around or anything like that, but just to see that, and you can like those windows show you what he's doing, and that is what I want you to see.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, mostly I just been doing what people say. Well, I've always did, because I was like, when people say, "Oh, your biggest mistake is that you're focusing more on all this technical stuff, or like equipment, or like trying to like do cool little tricks versus your playlist," and I was like, okay, well, the playlist is what I already got down pat. I need the other things, you know what I mean? Because I've always did. Because I was like, I didn't know what a DJ did. I thought a DJ did, what they do, like when you think of like hip hop, like beat making and like scratching and stuff. But a DJ, it's simpler than that, right? Not when it can be that. Right.
It's simpler, but it's also complex, because if you're just manipulating a playlist, that's one thing. But if you're actually DJing at a gig, like, you control the temperature of the room. Like, you can make things go up or down depending on what you do. So like, you have to be aware of, one, where you are, what's gonna hit and what's not gonna hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's why like a lot of like producers and stuff like that. A lot of like the best producers in hip hop and in pop music and stuff like that, almost all of them were DJs at some point, because they understand the temperature. They understand how to manipulate a crowd. And Dr. Dre was a DJ, and like Dr. Dre says, like, hey, if I'm at a DJ gig and I play the wrong thing, someone could get killed. So like, you know what I mean? Like, he's from, Southern California, so like, that's a big fucking deal, and there's a lot of pressure, and like, it could be a problem. So, yeah. But I just looked on the Roots YouTube channel, and a lot of that stuff, almost all of it, is still there. So,
okay. But what I was saying about like me already doing it is that I used to make mix CDs and stuff, like as a curated mix of different eclectic musics and stuff, but not even that. I would put music into my video editing software, a very crude one, when I was younger, and mix it down to where it was basically an hour and a half piece of music, and now put that on a CD, to where then you couldn't switch tracks and you had to listen to the whole thing.
I used to do mix CDs all the time. Actually, me and a few people, my sister and a few others, like, we went through this process and we made this CD, and it was a banger, but it was like love making music, and that shit was a banger. Like, it was completely like curated and like tested. Like, you know what I mean? That, like, it was a banger, and like, we actually sold a few. Like, I used to be the CD man. So like I used to sell. I used to get. I had a hookup. I would get stuff from her, and then I would copy them, and I would sell them shits at work. So I used to be that person. I was never the DVD person. Like DVDs were just too cumbersome to do. Like around the time when I was trying to do it, like I had a DVD burner, but it was just like this shit is too much. The shit, depending on what type of CD player you had, the shit may not play, like all kinds of stuff. Like if it was a fucking CD, the shit was gonna play.
Right.
But and then also I did it again for my wedding, and I gave it away as wedding favors. Like I had a CD that was composed of love songs, like for like a wedding, and the DJ at my wedding reception, he told me after the fact because he was family, to like he was a cousin's cousin type thing. He said that whenever he did a wedding from that point forward, when they were looking for a song, he would just pull out our CD and was like, pick one of these. Like this has already been curated. It's already here. You just pick one of these.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those days. I miss because the playlists don't necessarily do the same thing for me as a curated CD did.
Because a curated CD is kind of like, it's like a set. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like doing a curated CD. That's like baby's first step to be like, I can do this. You know what I mean?
But also with a DJ set, you also have to be able to change on the fly. Like if something is not working for your whatever you're doing, you have to be able to change it to something else. To kind of like if you see like you're doing a party for like your family, like it's your for July cookout or some shit like that, and then you put on something,
and not putting on like bring the fucking ruckus, and like everyone's like not really feeling
right. But then like and then people just start like talking and like not really paying attention to the music, and then like you have to know as a DJ, you have to know when to put on I Got Friends in Low Places. You know what I mean? Like that has to, because I'm pretty sure that shit hit in North Carolina.
Now what you do is like, okay, Bring the Ruckus is playing. It's not really hitting, and then instead of just like fading it into it, you just like whip it back, and then it goes into, and then that'll get everyone's attention. And then they're like,
no. See, here's how you do it.
Okay.
Here's how you do it. You're on Bring the Ruckus, right? And nothing is really happening, right?
There's no ruckus.
There's no ruckus happening. No ruckus happening. You want to get this party jumping. So, you put on Low by Flow Rider. And when people start looking around like, are you playing Low by Flow Rider? And then you flip it at the last second when people start paying attention that you just put it on Low by Flow Rider, like depending on the clientele, then that's when you switch it to I Got Friends in Low Places. Like you do that. I seen this thing and it was masterful. It was masterful. It was at a black college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the song that I'm getting ready to tell you in a minute is a song that you really know, but he was doing a DJ set. It was like at a meeting area of a black college, and he was just kind of playing music and put on Surfing USA. People started looking around like, is this motherfucker playing Surfing USA? And like, this is a black college. Like, are you really playing Surfing USA? And then, like after he played the song for a little bit, he played at least like half of the fucking song.
Uh-huh.
It got people's attention. Once he had your attention and he switched Surfing USA to Swag Surfing, boy, did that crowd light the fuck up. Swag Surfing will never die because of black people. Like that was just a kind of a throwaway song. Like no one fucking like it. It didn't really. I don't think it ever did very much. But swag surfing will never die in the black community. Like they do, they swag surf at fucking graduations. You know what I mean? They swag surf at like occasions, like like if it's at a concert or something like that, and you let a DJ do his thing while y'all go in between people or some shit like that. They swag surf at fucking football games. They swag surf at fucking band competitions. Like, bruh, swag surfing is like. Shit will never die. But like it took someone to take that risk and say, I am going to switch this shit and I am going to play Surfing USA at this black college and I am going to get everyone's fucking attention. And then I'm going to play the song that everyone fucking knows and everyone wants to hear. And that's a part of it, like knowing when to switch things up and all that kind of stuff. Like it's not just about creating a playlist. There's a Questlove.
Well, I didn't say it was, but that's the start, right?
Questlove actually talks about two different occasions where he had like the perfect plan of what he was going to do for a DJ set, and those plans were seriously derailed. I'm gonna tell you about the lesser one first because the other one is fucking hilarious. He DJ'd for, I think it was one of the inaugural balls. It might have been the second inaugural ball for Obama. And he had all of this stuff that he wanted to play because he was DJing at the White House. You know what I mean? Like, so he had like all of this stuff that he had thought of. He had his music set up. Everything was ready to go. And I don't know whether it was Michelle. It might have been Michelle. Or somebody actually came to him and was like, yo, dog, I need you to put on something for these kids. And like he switched it to some music that he personally doesn't like, but it was the song that appealed to the young people that were there, like the Obama's children and stuff like that. But, you know, of course, they're parents of those children, so they've heard this music before. So like everyone had a good fucking time. But of course, because he had did all of this work prior, he's sulking because like, this is my one chance to play the music that I think would hit at the White House. Now I'm playing all of these young people music that I don't fucking give a fuck about, and it completely ruins my playlist. And then the second story he tells, he DJs for an after party for Prince. And they scramble at the last minute to get everything straight and ready to go for this party. And he thinks of all of the stuff that he would play around Prince, like the people that influenced Prince and stuff like that, that he would like really, that he think that Prince would gravitate to. And, you know, Prince is a weird fucking dude, right? Like, you know, he's a genius, musical genius, weird fucking dude. So apparently somebody who works for Prince came up to him, was like, here, we need you to play this. Hands him a copy of Finding Nemo. Now, remember, this after party is set up at a club, a real nightclub.
He needed him to play the movie?
No, just wait. So he was just like, okay, I guess they want to have this on in the background. So he figures out a way to get that shit playing, and he's still doing his DJ set. And someone comes back to him and was like, no. We don't need the music. We're just going to watch Finding Nemo. So Prince threw an after party for one of his shows. Questlove is supposed to DJ, and they end up watching Finding Nemo at a fucking club. Because that's what Prince wanted. So
that's the ultimate, like, you know, I don't do requests. That's like the ultimate, like, nightmare stories. If I don't do requests.
Yes, absolutely. But like when you're DJing for somebody like Prince, and you know that Prince is fucking weird. Like Prince has like all kinds of music, videos, movies, and stuff like that. That what's his name? Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith says that Prince got him to produce a documentary of some sort, right? And he said he went through the whole process and everything. He said it was weird working for Prince. Prince is just kind of an odd dude, but he went through the process. He got it done. Just put that bitch in a vault, and no one has ever seen that bitch since. Pay Kevin Smith to make a fucking documentary that he never intended to actually put out. So like, it's just kind of a fucking weird dude. I wish I cared a lot. I wish I cared more about Prince's music when he was alive.
So it seems like the stories that are on like Dave Chappelle were like tame compared to like these are just like.
Well, the basketball stuff and the Rick James story and stuff like that, all of that stuff is real. It's really real. And like several people who are a part of like Prince's like entourage and stuff like that, and like the people that were in the band and stuff like that, they 100% said that story about playing basketball and being carved up by Prince on a basketball court and then being served pancakes after by Prince, 100% accurate. They have all said it from the day that fucking episode aired. They've all said that shit actually happened. They said that it happened more than once. It was a common occurrence with them. Wow. That's just crazy, bro. All right, man. So, I mean, I don't think I've watched very much. I did watch. I mean, I'm watching a new TV show. I can't remember if I talked about this last time, but I'm watching a show called Queens. Did I talk about this last time?
Maybe. In 2 weeks, because that's the thing. Yeah. Like when we do a podcast every week, it's like, well, nothing's happened since we did a podcast last. When we do a podcast every 2 weeks, we're like, it's been 2 weeks. I don't remember what we talked about 2 weeks ago.
But then also like the game night and stuff like that. We'll talk about in a minute.
This past game night, we didn't do much talking. We did more playing, so that was good. Yes, but like other times when we just have game nights and not necessarily having game nights, just like a Friday night chat or whatever like that, a lot of times I can't remember if I said this on the podcast or if I said it in that chat. It's very, very hard to separate those two things for me anyway. But I'm watching a show called Queens, and it is a show that stars Brandy. It's Eve, the rapper Eve, Natari Naughton, who played. Well, most people know her from Power. She played the wife of the main character in Power, but she also played Little Kim in the Notorious movie. And then there's another like Puerto Rican lady that I don't know her from anything that I've seen personally, but I'm pretty sure she's been in other things. I don't know her personally, but basically what happened was they were a rap group in the 90s. In the late 90s, they had a falling out. They really just kind of didn't fuck with each other no more. And then something happens where a young girl, like a kind of like a Cardi B type, Cardi B slash like hip hop girl. It kind of brings them back together because she's doing like another version of one of their songs, their hit song. And I think their hit, it was like a hit song from like 97, you know what I mean? Like 98, like somewhere like around there. So the show starts with that she's doing that song and they bring her back. I mean, they bring the girls back
because they're going to perform the song with the new chick on the BET Awards. So all four of them come back, but they all have they all have lives now. You know what I mean? Like at one point they were they were the typical girl group that mostly they got ruined because of drama with a man, their manager, their manager / producer type dude. So that's the main reason why everything kind of fell out. But it's been years, and one of them who was the whole character is now a housewife, and she got 5 kids. And Brandy's character, she decided she didn't want to rap anymore, so now she has she performs in bars and shit like that because she wants to get her music heard. She's a singer now. And then the one played by Notori Naughton, she's a she's a church lady now. You know what I mean? She left lives in Minnesota or some shit like that, and she's a church lady now. And then the other lady, she completely raised her profile, and she was on a news anchor on a ET type show. You know what I mean? So they're all in way different places, and they come back together for this. They have unresolved issues with each other, some issues with family stuff, and all of this kind of other stuff. And I just thought it was actually cool. But what I really saw first was there is a rap battle between Eve and Brandy. And let me tell you, whoever is writing for Brandy in this show, first of all, her rap voice is phenomenal. Her rap voice is whoa. You have the perfect voice for this. And yes, she does do some singing in the show, but her rap voice is phenomenal. And then Eve, I mean, we already know Eve can rap, but they do a rap battle. And this is the clip that I saw first. And, when I came to that part in the show, I understood the rap battle more because the rap battle was about control of the group, the control of the direction of the group. But, they originally started as a group called the Nasty Bitches. Mm-hmm. And then now that they're all grown up and stuff like that, eventually they changed the name of the group to Queens. But it's really good. It's not necessarily a comedy. It's drama, but it's music, and when they rap, I'm gonna say this. The Puerto Rican chick, she was not a rapper, or she was not an entertainer other than acting prior to this show. But that's also a part of her character. Her character was always the life of the party, and she's the one that brought something to the group, because originally it was the other three. So basically, Brandy's character wrote for her so that she could be a part of the group. But in real life, that lady has never been a part of anything like this. The other three, even Notori Naughton, was in 3LW. I don't know if you know anything about 3LW, but before she was an actress, she was in 3LW. But here's the problem with Notori Naughton. She still kind of raps like Lil' Kim. I know you played Lil' Kim in a movie once, but you still kind of rap like Lil' Kim. And it's kind of off-putting because I'm just okay, you're not Lil' Kim right now. You can rap like someone else, right? Apparently that's what she knows how to do when she does rap.
Maybe she just raps like that, and they got her to play the Lil' Kim part because of that already.
No, she was a singer. 3LW is a singing group. She didn't rap before Lil' Kim.
Well, maybe she did, but she didn't do it professionally.
I don't know. All I know is when she starts rapping, it still sounds like Lil' Kim. And yeah. But other than that, I really, really, really enjoyed the show. And then I watched. Wu-Tang has ended. Why the Last Man is ended, and I really hope that someone else picks up Why the Last Man, because I really want to see where that show goes. Because it's already deviated quite a bit from the source material, but the source material is pretty old, so like you needed to add some stuff here. But you know they're not bringing it back on FX, so I hope one of the other places, Netflix, Amazon, one of those places, actually like picks this up, because I really want to see where this is going. Wu-Tang ended pretty good. They finally got greenlit for a third season, and third season is going to be their last season. I would have liked two more. Just so they can get through. Like the third season should be about them really going through the process of like touring and all of that kind of stuff with 36 Chambers, and like re-putting together their albums that were destroyed in that flood. You know what I mean? Like, because all of that stuff happened in real life, I would have liked to see season 3 take place of that, and then I would have liked for season 4 to be forever and just end it at forever. And whatever happens with that happens. You know what I mean? I personally would have liked for it to end at forever, but apparently it's not. I don't know what season 3 is going to be. It's weird because like you only got one season. It was only like 10 episodes. How much more Wu-Tang can you stuff into 10 episodes when you stretch this shit out for so long for 2? We gonna find out.
Yeah.
And then Shang-Chi. I watched Shang-Chi.
You did? How was that?
It was actually pretty decent. Of course, I waited for it to be available on Disney Plus, because I'm not going to a movie theater. Well, actually, the movie theater closest to me closed during the pandemic, so I don't even know where there's a movie theater around here. But which is also like what I'm going to have to end up doing for the Eternals. But Shang-Chi was really good. It's a Marvel movie with fighting, with martial arts. I only have one gripe. I have one gripe with that whole fucking movie. Some of these motherfuckers is airbending, and they didn't actually really explain why these motherfuckers can airbend. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of these motherfuckers can airbend, and I'm like, y'all didn't quite explain this, because like most of the martial arts is very grounded. Of course, the real Mandarin has the rings. They're not rings on his finger anymore. They're rings on his arm, like basically on his forearms. And they work different than the actual rings for the Mandarin as we know the Mandarin. For those who know the Mandarin, he had actual like rings on his fingers that did different things depending on which finger, which one he was using. That's supernatural. There's also kinds of there's some supernatural stuff, but for the most part, the martial arts itself is pretty grounded. But all these motherfuckers get airbend, and they don't fucking explain this shit, and that's gonna fucking why can they airbend? Like, they never explain it. It's the show. It's the show title. Why can they airbend?
But back to one thing. I had to school my son on what sampling is.
Oh, he probably heard some shit and was like, they stole this. That's what these young people are doing on social media. They fucking TikTok, like last year sometime, they came at Timbaland hard because this Indian lady was putting on blast like the Indian music, like Indian from India music that he sampled, or songs like Big Pimpin' and stuff like that. And so they started coming after Timbaland on like TikTok and stuff like that. It was like, you motherfuckers don't understand that this is a sample? He didn't steal this. Like, somebody got fucking paid for this. You really think that he can just he can't just fucking take this shit and do whatever the fuck he wants to with it. No, he finds a piece of something, and before he can actually put out this song, someone has to say, okay, pay me this much and you can use this. So somebody got paid. So it's not.
Yeah. I mean, they did it first, and then Steely Dan was like, "Y'all, let's come to an agreement here."
Right.
But
I love. There's a Steely Dan documentary about Asia.
I love that album, man. That's
when they get to that one song, the dude from Steely Dan, he recognizes when the song plays, he recognizes the sample from Uptown Baby, and he starts doing Uptown Baby, Uptown Baby. He starts doing that shit himself. One of the dudes from Steely Dan, because that's one of the biggest songs that got sampled from a song from Asia.
Yeah.
But like he starts doing that shit himself, and I found that to be hilarious. This like really square white dude just start singing Uptown Baby because it sampled his song. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I can't get into talking about Steely Dan right now, but like that's a conversation for Zabari. Zabari loves Steely Dan. Yeah. I'll say one thing is like growing up, I just assumed I think it's because of the art of their first album, which they will say is atrocious, but like it just looked like a generic like Foghat type band, like but and Foghat has its place. It's just fun, dumb 70s rock, right? But like I thought that's what Steely Dan was until I heard Asia, and I was like, dude, this is fucking brilliant. But anyway, like it's just really well produced for a couple of like nerdy white dudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, something I think is one of those things, right, where somebody was going to have this idea. Something like the idea of Steely Dan is like, we're pretty good at making songs. We pretty much know all of the session musicians. Like, let's just invite our friends to come do what they do. Like, and then like, for like one of the songs, I can't remember the song, but there's like 5 different guitar solos, and they're all completely different from each other, and they just chose the one that they chose for the song that's on the album, but they still have the other 4. And they just, in like this documentary, I think I saw it on Netflix. It's called Ultimate Albums or something like that. And like they still have the others there. It was just like, well, we like this, and we like this bass line from this person. We told him not to pluck, and he decided to pluck anyway. So, like, we didn't necessarily like this, so we got someone else to do it. But then he ended up slapping the strings anyway, and it's just like, well, so we went back to that. It's like there's a lot of that. And like, but the idea of like we are going to produce all of this stuff, and we're gonna do a lot of this, but like our friends who here anyway, they're session musicians, they do all of this stuff every day. We're just gonna get them to come in and do some stuff with us. That is a great idea.
That's a great thing to have, to where you're like, because there's a lot of times, especially for creative types, like what's in your head can't come out because of your limitations of who you're like, man, right here could be the crazy strings thing, but I don't know a string quartet, or I don't know like people that play all, you know what I mean? But if you knew those people, you'd be like, it's like you have all the things at your fingertips to do anything that you want,
Yeah, I mean, and it happens with a lot of people. Like, I listen to a lot of Questlove Supreme. That's why I know a lot of this stuff about. I know a lot of stuff about Questlove, but like some of the people that he has, are like people that are kind of behind the scenes, like Greg Fillinganes. Like most people have no idea who Greg Fillinganes is, but if I ran down the list of all of the stuff that Greg Fillinganes has done, you'd be like, "Fuck, he did that too." Like, you know what I mean? Like, in like all of those like Philly International guys and all of that kind of stuff. Like, there's a bunch of people out there that are that has done like a whole bunch of shit. Like, what's her name? The lady who is the bassist, and she's a bassist on like um
Oh, what is her name? Because she was on the Pet Sounds.
Carol Kay.
Yeah, she was part of the group with Hugh. Well, anyway, I can't remember the group that they're like their own band, but they're like a session band. I
Yeah,
can't remember
and
what
then
they're called.
but like it's like the craziest thing is
The
like
Wrecking Crew.
I
The Wrecking Crew. That's what they're called.
yeah you know that you have stuff like that, like the Wrecking Crew, like the Funk Brothers, Motown, and stuff like that. That Standing in the Shadows of Motown is a excellent documentary. I saw it. It was on Amazon. I don't know if it's on. I don't know if it's on anywhere else. But when I saw it, it was on Amazon, and it is a phenomenal thing, and it has like performances from people doing Motown songs with them playing, because you know they played all of that music. Like all of that music is them. That this group of people, and like you find out like how fucking dope of a person James Jamerson is. You know what I mean? Like James Jamerson is like, holy fuck. They only made one of those. I can't remember the song, but there is a Motown song that is like complex. There's a complex bass line. He's a bassist. It's a complex bass line. And like when you find out that James Jamerson only used one finger when he played the bass, it's like, how the fuck did he do that? How is this possible? In one of the songs he recorded laying down on the floor. That is a documentary I strongly suggest. There's another one where I was talking to some people because we were talking about the Lion King at work about 2 weeks ago, and I was talking about how like the people who sang the opening for the Lion King, they weren't actually Africans. You know, they were just regular old Americans. But there's I think it was on Netflix, and it was like 10 Feet from Stardom or something like that. It's about background singers. And holy fuck was that good. That was a good fucking documentary. And it's about all of these people who like their only job is to back someone up because none of them want to feel uncomfortable in the front. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a few people who have actually like transitioned from the back to the front, like Luther Vandross and stuff like that. But like, you know, like a lot of them really kind of do their work, and they've done this stuff for years. And actually, one of the ladies, I can't remember her name right now, but one of the ladies who did a lot of big time backup for a lot of big time and a lot of big time stuff for like Philly International and a lot of disco music, sang background for a lot of that stuff. She just passed away last week, and I don't have the article in front of me, so I can't think of her name right now. But like, yeah, those are great music documentaries. The Ultimate Albums thing, when it was on Netflix, was great, and there was quite a few of those. Like the Nirvana one, the Nevermind one, it's really really good. It's like the and then like the. Do you know the story about Something in the Way?
It's been a while because I used to have like a couple of Nirvana tapes, like VHS tapes that were like documentaries and stuff, but it's been a while since I've went into that stuff.
They were trying to record Something in the Way, and it just, for some reason, it just wasn't working. So like basically that song was recorded like he was like practicing and just kind of laying back on the couch, just kind of like mumbling to himself, but like practicing. I guess they couldn't get it low enough. They couldn't get that feel low enough. So like he's in the studio, not in the booth. And basically they turned off everything, turned off the air conditioning, turned off everything, and jammed a microphone in his face. And he was recorded laying down, like basically in practice mode in order to sing that low, sing with that lower volume for that song to get made. It's like stuff like that you find out. It's just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the Steely Dan talk, it did exactly what I thought it was going to do, is get on the big diatribe. But what I was saying is there is a Mala song, who is one of the old school dubstep guys, and he has a song called Changes. And my son was like, and this was the opposite thing, to where he was like, oh, this is so-and-so. And I'm like, no, this is Mala. He was like, no, this is, I was like, okay, this is from 2007, Aiden. There's no way that it was this other dude. But apparently the rapper, I'm probably going to butcher his name. I can't fucking say it right, but his name is like XXX Tentacion, I think.
I just call that dude Extension. I just call him Extension, and it drives my daughter crazy. She was a fan of dude until and she's actually had a picture. She had a picture of the dude on her phone or her computer, one of the two. And I was like, why do you have that on your device? And she was just like, I like his music. And I was like, do you realize what kind of terrible person he is? It's like he savagely beat his pregnant girlfriend. This is not a dude I want you to have on your device. There's two songs of his that I actually like, but of course he ended up getting killed. Somebody riding around in a convertible and somebody shot up the car in Florida or some shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. There's a song. It's probably really famous. I'm not sure, because my son knows it, so it's got some reach. If it got to him. But
what's the song? Do you know the song?
Well, I know the Mala song is called Changes. So if you bring that up, and apparently he tempo dropped it, so it's lower. But if you listen to the melody of Changes, it will probably get it. I'm not sure what
it's a song called Look at Me. The Extension song is Look at Me.
Okay. But yeah, he was like that's XXX Tentacion or whatever, and I'm like, no, it's not. He sampled this song. That's different. It's not his song.
Yeah, and then there's the other big song by the Juice WRLD dude. And it was the Sting song. What's it called? Shape of something. Hold on.
Yeah. Samples is weird sometimes, to where it's almost like it's cool to sample something from 20 years ago, but when you're sampling something that didn't happen that long ago, it's getting a little close to the release date, bro.
Here's the thing. This all went out of the window when people were sampling songs of Jay-Z when Jay-Z first came out. I'm a Hustler. I'm a Hustler was a sample from Dirt Off Your Shoulders, and it was that song is a year old, and they fucking sampled the shit out of that. And I'm like, okay, I guess there's no longer a waiting period on this shit. You know what I mean? There was two of them. There was I'm a Hustler, and there was something else that both sampled Jay-Z lyrics, but not a year after the fucking album came out.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you have anything that you watched? I can talk music forever. I can talk music forever. You know that, right?
Yeah, me too. Actually, I was on Wormhole's podcast, and that's pretty much all we talked about is music. But he did do a quiz about video games. but anyway, which was a fun time. But we still doing the Friday the 13th. We just did Jason Goes to Hell. So the next thing is Jason X, which you will be on. And I was wondering if this is a little behind the scenes, I guess, but we can do some behind the scenes on another podcast, on this podcast, which would be cool. So if anybody else wants to join us, it might be cool, since I'm not sure where it's streaming, because it's kind of a rare movie anyway, physically. So we could do a showing in Discord, and because if you want to watch it again before we
I'm almost certain I know where my disc is.
Oh, you have it on. Well, you have like a small fortune there.
Of course I have. Of course I have it on disc.
Oh yeah, because that.
And also, if there's another inside baseball for another show, where we're doing Return to Oswald, and we are nearing the end of Return to Oswald, and we're going to do different shows. One of the shows that came up is Playmakers. We are going to be doing Playmakers, and I still have my DVDs. Rashani still has his DVDs. So we're going to be doing Playmakers. You know, Playmakers was a really big show, but it was an ESPN show about a football team, and it was basically about the dark side of football, about all of the stuff that's happening around the football team, people doing drugs, all kinds of stuff. And the NFL got that shit shut down. So there's only one season. So, and since we both still have our DVDs, we're going to try to figure out how Brandon's going to get a hold of some of this stuff, and we are going to do Playmakers sometimes soon. We still got a couple more episodes of Return of Oz to do, but yeah, that's going to happen.
But yeah, well, I just looked it up. Apparently, it looked like they may have released it again, but the DVD of Jason X at one point, or at least Jason Goes to Hell, if not both of them, were like really expensive because they just like released them and then they didn't sell well, so they just didn't do them again. So even though it was just like some cheap DVD, ended up jacking up the price in the aftermarket. So, but it seemed like I just saw it like $5, $10. So yeah, depends on which one you have. Probably, I don't know.
So they didn't do a whole bunch of pressings.
Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently they've done it now. So because they just did the Shout Factory box set, which is the first time every interview and special feature and everything's been in one place. So, but yeah, that's really all I've been watching, man, and just some YouTube stuff. Still watching been really binging on skate videos. Like every now and again, I'll just get into them again, and because a lot of these ones where they're like kind of like almost movies, you know, they're like a 45 to an hour long, like where it goes through different skaters and has music and stuff, and it's like almost meditative, you know. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But I just watched one called Godspeed, so I recommend that one. It's a good one. It's fairly new, so it's fairly recent.
I live on YouTube, so I've something that's like an hour long YouTube video is nothing. So I watched a 4-hour History of Destiny video a few weeks ago.
There's a dude on there. He's on the You Good video. It's like You Good with the question mark, like someone like eat shit and you're like, you good? But that one's by Red Bull, so fine, You Good. But there's a kid named Alex Midler, and he's pretty young, but man, that dude has some fucking determination, man. Because like it seems like he doesn't have the greatest balance, but there's this one like grinder where he was just eating shit. His hands were just like completely red and like bloodied. He was just like, I am getting this shit, and it's like fucking 6 times of just like landing on his fucking dick, like face planting all this shit, and he finally got it, and just dude and everybody's just ecstatic, you know. But he like, and that's the one thing where my son was like, I kind of want to skateboard. I'm like, probably not, because I know he does not have that determination especially of getting hurt. Like he's gonna eat shit one time and fucking be done. But
that's what happened to my daughter in riding a bike. I took the fucking training wheels off and was trying to teach her how to ride the bike. She started riding and she fell off one time. It's like, because I took her to a park. And she fell one time and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the park. I'm just gonna be on the swings and shit. Hello. And that was pretty much it for her riding the bike.
Yeah,
because kids today don't have it. Yeah, don't have that.
because skate shit ain't cheap, man. I mean, even like if I get a I might have talked about this last time, but like a $60 deck, like which is fairly cheap, you know. But once you got trucks and wheels and all that kind of stuff and grip tape, and he's going to use skate shoes, you know, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I hurt my pinky, I'm good. You know, it's just like God.
You know what was as far as skating goes, you know who is the funniest person in the world? Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is hilarious. Have you ever followed? Do you follow Tony Hawk on Twitter?
No, but I saw a video to where like it was like most hated skaters or something, and it wasn't about Tony Hawk, but like there was a skater to where like the dude was like, yeah, I don't hate these skaters. I'm just telling you what most people don't like these skaters or whatnot. And there was this dude, I'm not sure his name, but apparently there was like some sort of podcast where Tony Hawk was there and some of his friends were talking. He's like, dude, I was talking to this dude and I had to like console him because he was crying, literally crying when he found out Tony Hawk smoked weed.
All right, so I mean, duh. He's like, duh. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Tony Hawk smokes weed. That's like finding out that Snoop Dogg smokes weed. It's like, duh. It's like finding out Willie Nelson smokes weed. It's like Cheech and Chong. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Why do you not know this? He's a skateboarder. I mean, that's what they do. But anyway, Tony Hawk on Twitter is a great Twitter follow because his Twitter is mostly stories of people talking to him about Tony Hawk and not realizing he's Tony Hawk. Or like being somewhere, like being on an airplane and like putting his skateboard up in the, you know, in the carry-on or whatever like that. And someone asks, oh, do you skate? And it's like, yes. You any good at it? Yes, people would say so. Like, oh, you kind of look like that Tony Hawk guy. Yep, I get that a lot. You know, that type of his Twitter is filled with those kinds of stories. and like meeting people and people just not realizing that he's Tony Hawk. It is one of the best Twitter follows ever.
Cause that's the thing, man. Like fame and fortune, that's one thing and whatnot. But the one thing that I would say that someone who is more well-versed and more cultured than we are, to where they may have something to where they're traveling, or they maybe have a band to where they're touring a lot, or they may be a skateboarder that goes to a bunch of events, are like some of the best podcasters because they have so many fucking stories that we would never have because we just go day to day. You know, well, I went to work today. You know what I mean? I played some video games.
Look, I just pulled up Tony Hawk's Twitter page, and one from October the 29th, he said he's at the store wandering aisles as an employee approaches. Him, can I help you? Me, I'm looking for light bulbs. Him, they're in this aisle. Hey, you look like Tony Hawk. Me, I've heard that. Him, that's crazy. Gets light bulbs. Him, wait, are you Tony Hawk? Me, yes. Him, that's crazier. It's just a ton of stories like that. It is, like I said, Tony Hawk is a great follow. It's just a lot of stuff like, you know, kids at the skate park. Are you Tony Hawk? Yes. Will you still be here? I'm not sure what that means, but I really hope so. If I go get my phone from over there, will you still be here to take a picture with me? I will still be here, and I hope to stick around as long as possible. And it's just like cool stuff like that. Of just being Tony Hawk is like gotta be the coolest fucking thing ever. I dig. I mean, there was at one point he was doing like a lot of these, like a lot of these stories about just meeting random people, and they're not, you know, people are like, you look like Tony Hawk. And it's like, I get that, and like I love how he just kind of plays along. Yeah, it's great. I like Tony Hawk. He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Word, man.
Okay, so if we're talking video games, I only really played I played, and since the last show, I played a little bit more Destiny. Not a lot, because I've been pretty busy making cookies and such when I have off time. Mm-hmm. And then we played Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah. That was a good game night, man. That was really fun. Like, fucking Ace, man.
You know what? It reminded me of some of the older game nights, where it was just like, not just like two of us and like two or three of us and one of us actually playing a different game. Like for the first time in a long time, we are all playing the same game together. And even though we were having issues getting together in some cases, it still ended up being a blast. And like, even though like I played the game, like, you know me, I played the game and I don't play racing games. I don't enjoy racing games past like a few minutes, but just kind of like being there and just being amongst the bros and just kind of having fun and just kind of joking. Like this is, it's kind of what I miss about the community.
Yeah.
And you actually live streamed it, but then you also put the video up on the YouTube page. We should probably share that in more places.
Yeah. I sent it out. I'm not sure if I renamed it from like the Scarcasm episode, which normally they get named. But I have a playlist that has our game nights. I need to put it in that as well. But
and then like also Ace was talking about Halo multiplayer going free today, and I was like, I told you this on Friday, and then I actually pulled up the video, and it's not very far into the video when the video starts that I actually say this. Is like, because he tries to gift me a car, and I was like, don't waste your car, because I'm not going to play this for very long. And you're just like, well, what if we play this for more game nights? I was like, ain't gonna be no more game nights for this because Halo's coming out on the 15th. I say that during the fucking game night. Halo's supposed to be coming out on the 15th. Like I said, it's the worst kept secret. Halo's supposed to be coming out on the 15th. So like any game nights is probably going in that direction.
Yeah,
we're gonna do more game nights together.
Yeah, here it is, man. Season, So yeah. Well, I won't be on Friday. That's one thing that I need to talk. That's the one thing I was gonna talk about. That's a real life. On Thursday, I am flying to Kentucky to visit my brother, and because I was gonna drive, which I mean, it's a drivable trip. It's like 10 hours, but he was like, hey, the tickets are cheap. Just fly up. It's only going to be like a 45 to an hour flight versus a 10-hour drive. So that's what I'm going to do. And he said, well, if you do it, I'll pay $100. So they paid $100 on my ticket. So,
are you going to be bringing both of the banjos for dueling?
That would be if we went to West Virginia. We're going to Kentucky.
Is Kentucky that different than West Virginia?
Well, we're not in that part of Kentucky. We're like near Cincinnati. So
I'm pretty sure there's places in West Virginia that probably have more than the average West Virginian's amount of teeth. But that's not really saying much. I mean, most places in this country, right, is a big city surrounded by Alabama. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Virginia, we just fucking elected a fucking governor like that's like super trumpet, even though he didn't really want to be associated with Trump. So like, you know, like it's kind of like the big city surrounded by Alabama. That's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
You think about it. If you think about it, think about where you live. If you live in a big city, right? Usually it's surrounded by Alabama.
Yeah.
No matter where you are.
Even California.
My boss is from Syracuse, New York. And he says, oh, it's pretty much Alabama. So, yeah. But yeah, so how long have you been going? That's just a weekend?
Yeah, it's Thursday through Sunday. So I because that's one thing I was talking about, like the vlog thing, because like I wouldn't want to be like a vlogger that just like vlogs 24. It's a bunch of nonsense of us doing stupid shit. I would want to like do it to where I have a nice camera. If I was going to visit my brother, what I do film, I edit it together into almost like a curated movie, and it's like, pretty to look at, shots from the, the airplane and all that kind of stuff. But having a good camera would be the thing, you know what I mean? I think my brother might have a GoPro. So maybe I'll be like, hey, let me use this, and I'll edit it together. Maybe I'll have a video when we come back of some, because he's definitely really excited about me going there. Because the last time I was visited him was in 2016, and that was before. Wow. Yeah, that was before I was on the podcast. But yeah, the only thing I've been playing is Forza Horizon 5 for pretty much the whole week. Before that, I kind of got back into the Red Deads and the Scarlet Nexuses and all that, but it's been a while since that because of Forza Horizon 5. I haven't played any Destiny in a while. I wanted to get back into it after the Halloween thing because you got into it a little bit, but it didn't seem like you had much time to play anyway. But
let me tell you about what happened after the fucking Halloween shit was over.
What's up?
So basically what I had did was whatever I would just basically just keep infusing my helmet.
Yeah, I told you not to do that.
Motherfucker, I turned on, and I guess the event was done. I didn't know exactly when the event was done, but when I got on and I was by myself, and I got on, and I was like, what
and
the
that motherfucker went to
zero. Yeah. That shit was zero. They completely zeroed the fuck out of my the thing that I had the mask on. And I'm like,
that's what they say, like, you get a 0 on this assignment, that's gonna fuck with your grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so it really did kind of fuck with me. But I'm also at the point where I need to get through the story content, because if I want to continue, I have to do some of this stuff in order to get higher level gear, because I'm just kind of stuck at 1270. 1270 is kind of like the rate in which you have to start doing those things with the dots. You have to start doing the things on the map, and they kind of have like that gold dot or whatever.
Yeah, the one thing that's like a pretty fun, easy thing to do is just to do your 3 strikes. Like, but it's like now our game night's probably going to be with Halo if we start getting into it. But it's not going to be this Friday because I'm going to be gone. But next Friday, there's some Halo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. So I enjoyed the game night. If y'all want to have fun with us, I know the video's pretty long. It's like just short of 4 hours, right?
Yeah, but like a couple hours at the end, it's just me playing because I was waiting for Sam. I messaged him on Discord, and I was waiting, and then I finally was like, let me just text him, and he's like, yeah, I'm already in bed. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna bed there.
I told you. You were like, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna wait for Sam, and I'm like, all right.
But I was still, I still had some stuff to do, so like I was like, I'm gonna. Once I did most of my stuff that I wanted to do, I was like, well, let me text him. Because I was like, it seems like Sam gets left out of a lot of things because he's got a different time schedule than most of us, and he works at night. And, I was like, trying to make sure. Because I think he really had fun on the Back for Blood. And that's what I was about to say. The Back for Blood thing, I was like, yes, it didn't feel like old times. But I wanted it to. It had a smidget of wanting to. But the Forza Horizon definitely did feel like old times. And I think that was mostly because I think Forza Horizon, which is weird to say, is more fun than Back for Blood. I did not think that I would think Forza Horizon 5 would be more fun than Back for Blood. Here we are.
Back for Blood is too difficult. And I've heard that they have acknowledged that it is pretty difficult and they were going to do something about that. But it's just pretty difficult, and like, it's just
yeah, like the base.
They throw too much at you when you're on the lowest level.
Yeah, I don't think that the base difficulty is that hard. Like the difficulty of how much damage you take versus how much damage they take is that hard. I think but they just throw too many specials at you. They just need to get that rate down to where feels right, because it does not feel right. You're not supposed to. when you're walking through in Left 4 Dead, you get a smoker. Okay, I think I hear a hunter. When you're like in the next building, not you're in the building and all of a sudden there's fucking 5 hunters pouncing on everybody. Yeah, that's not a good time.
Oh, not at all.
But
not one bit. But like I said, I very much enjoyed the time. Like I know I'm not gonna play very much of Forza Horizon, but I downloaded it while I was at work. Like I came home for lunch, I set the download up, and then I went back to work. It was fun. It may be different once I have an Xbox Series. It may be a different situation because like my load times and shit like that were just horrendous. So it may be different once I have that. But yeah, I think I still don't think that I'm gonna put that much time into it, but I may put some in just so I have like cars and shit like that once we get all of that stuff figured out.
And I also figured out how to make lab events as well. So I made one called like GGR Sprint or something that was like some sort of dirt track or whatnot. So those you can set the rules and all that kind of stuff, and they're ones you can go back to as well. Like you just set them and they're already there, and it's not just something you have to keep setting up every time, which is cool.
Yeah, like in Rock Band, when you set up a playlist and you can save it.
Yeah.
So like like when you have your this will get the party going in Rock Band playlist, and you could just like, okay, the gang's back together, so like best of you is how we're gonna start this thing off. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Even though I hate fucking singing that song. Hate it. But I'm always the one that has to sing it.
Have you I don't know what reminded me of this, but it just popped in my brain. Have you seen Snoop Dogg play Mass Effect? And he must have been high or something, but he must have been. Of course he was. But
was he playing Mass Effect, that video that keeps coming back where he rage quits?
Where he like, because he was talking to Liara, and then he went to press like, yeah, I'd like that, and then it went to the let's just be friends, and he's just like, fuck.
Yeah, there's one video where he's just in the process, and they clip it and they put it in several different YouTube videos of like him just fucking rage quitting. Like he gets pissed off, he throws the fucking controller, he gets up and walks the fuck away, like he was like really upset by whatever the fuck happened in whatever game he was playing.
Yeah, so that was he was pissed off. Unless they took that and like put it in different things. You think that, I don't know. Well, maybe what you just said.
It has to. It definitely has to be the same clip. I'm almost certain. I just never saw the original clip. I don't know.
Well, it looked like it was Mass Effect, and then it was like his face cam. So unless someone edited it together.
What I saw is just the face cam part. It's not. It didn't show what he was playing. It's just like when someone is talking about something and someone like rage quitting something, they show just that clip of him rage quitting.
Also, maybe he rage quit over something else and someone edited it into Mass Effect. Because it did seem like a big... I mean, yeah, it does suck. You're like trying to sweet talk Liara and then you accidentally say, let's just be friends. And he's just like, fuck! Throws the controller. It's pretty funny. So it could have been something...
I'm trying to fuck that blue bitch.
So, but yeah, it could have been an edit, but it's still funny.
And also you're Crip, so you don't want anyone to fuck with the blue. Sorry. All right, I think we did it. I think we got it. I didn't know how well this show was gonna go, but like once we started talking about music stuff, I'm all about that. Yeah. I lit up like a fucking Christmas tree when it came to that shit. Even though you were trying to push past it, you motherfucker.
I wasn't trying to push past it. I just didn't want. I just knew that I would. I just didn't want myself to get out of control because, like I said, if I start talking about music as well, it could be the whole show, and I know that we didn't want to do that the whole show.
But we don't. We don't know all of this stuff about the same music.
Right, but there's overlap. There's a Venn diagram. You know what I mean?
Sure about that?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
didn't even know about something in the way.
Hmm?
You didn't know. You didn't even know about something in the way.
Well, I just hadn't seen that behind the scenes thing that you have.
I looked it up, and on those Ultimate albums are not on Netflix anymore. I'm gonna see. Let me see. Is it on YouTube? Can you see those on?
I do wish that there was a streaming service that had multiple like music documentaries.
So I would love that. Like whatever. Well, like I know BET has an app, right?
Yeah,
And they do have musical documentaries there because there was a No Limit documentary. There was a Rough Riders documentary. It was kind of like a series. They released it in pieces. Yeah. Some of the Ultimate album stuff is on YouTube, but I don't know. Oh, it's called Classic Albums. Maybe I didn't search for it the right way on Netflix, so I'm going to look that up before the show is over. I still don't see what I was looking for, so.
but yeah, that's something that could be pretty niche. That the people that really would watch that shit, like me or you, would really watch that shit. But then I don't know if there's a mass appeal to where, like, I think, like how Hulu used to have Criterion Collection on there, and I don't think they do that anymore. Criterion.
I think the two that I told people that they should watch, I think everyone, if you care about music, you should watch those. The Motown one, because there's so much that's based off of Motown. Like if Motown doesn't hit, a lot of the music you would listen to is different. If Motown doesn't connect, if Motown would not have connected without these dudes. So Standing in the Shadows of Motown is a must watch if you care about music in any way, shape, or form. The Background Singers one is just kind of cool because these are like people that you never hear about. And like the idea that like not only are they singing behind some of your favorite songs, but like they're also like they sing for like movies and stuff like that. Like the scene in The Color Purple where the lady is like going from the juke joint to her father's church. Like one of these background singers is actually doing the singing for her. Instead, that's not the actress singing on the show. And then like the Lion King thing where, it's these, these people, these just random Americans singing this African song at the beginning of the fucking Lion King, which I was a little bit disappointed in because they weren't African.
Mm-hmm.
But like these, I think those two are must see for anyone who cares about music. And like the Ultimate Albums thing is really dope. Just in general, it's just, or whatever, the classic albums or whatever you want to call it. I just think it's really, really kind of dope. See the thought process that went into some of the albums that you loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, that. So I think we did it. Go to the website. Well, you know what? I need to do a link tree. I think I'm gonna do a link tree. Like go to all of the places. Like, there's our website, there's the YouTube page, there's but most of the time we do all of our real talking in Discord. Discord might as well be the website at this point. It's probably a better situation. And
yeah, I still post things in the Facebook just because I do, and most of those things I schedule out so I don't forget it. And but I'm just never on Facebook because if I didn't do that, they just wouldn't get it done.
Always on Facebook, but I never think to post anything. I'm just always on Facebook, just in general. That's neither here nor there. But do all of the things, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your mama and them, tell your cousin them, tell everybody that we're back. Maybe we back and talk about some more stuff in 2 weeks. And until then, we'll probably get some more gaming in. No, I'm going to play something.
Oh, and I don't want to make. If you guys want to have a game night on Friday, that's cool. I just meant I'm not going to be there. That don't mean that there's not going to be a game night. I mean, because y'all can do some Halo if you want.
Probably not. Because I think I may have something to do Friday night, and I'm not about to spend all my Friday nights with y'all. Sorry.
But you are, man.
No. Sometimes a brother needs something to do on a Friday night. You know what I'm saying?
You need me to DJ that event?
No. I that's not an event I need a DJ for. But yeah, man. Thank y'all for checking us out, and we'll be back in your ear holes again in another 2 weeks. Shout out to the Warriors Show.
Later.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. All right, I ain't gonna talk.